There is a specific kind of danger that's incredibly difficult to spot because the hand lighting the fire is the same one offering you water. In relationships, psychologists identify this behavior as coercive control. An abuser will slowly dismantle their partner's life, but they hide the manipulation behind the guise of overwhelming protection and care. You often see this play out as the white knight dynamic. A partner might insist you quit your job or stop driving so they can take care of everything for you. The real objective is to restrict your autonomy so that you become entirely dependent on their intervention. Creating a crisis to secure the role of savior isn't unique to relationships. It is the core logic of a false flag, a strategy that hides the true author of an act while claiming the moral authority to resolve it. An attacker standing in plain sight is easy to recognize and defend against. A manipulator wrapped in a hero's cape is far more dangerous because they weaponize your natural instinct to trust people who claim to protect you. To see how this works, we can start with how a covert narcissist might engineer a relationship crisis. By quietly chipping away at their partner's confidence, they create a moment of breakdown where they can step in to offer the only available comfort. If you recognize the pattern and confront them about manufacturing the problem, they will not apologize. Instead, they deploy a specific psychological defense mechanism to deflect accountability. This outlines a cycle known as DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. In the attack phase, they ignore facts and attack your tone. Then, in the reverse, they act deeply wounded, solidifying a false victimhood until the actual victim apologizes. This interpersonal false flag successfully outsources the blame. It traps the victim in an emotional loop, constantly trying to repair a connection with the exact person who engineered the harm. Scaled to the community level, the desperate need for validation often manifests as physical destruction. Investigators call this hero syndrome. During the severe 2001 to 2002 Australian bushfire season, volunteer firefighters were stretched to their absolute limits. One specific volunteer, a man we'll refer to as Ben, was actively working the front lines. Over a 15-month period, Ben lit at least 25 different bushfires. He wasn't trying to destroy property. His actions were driven entirely by a craving for the heroic recognition bestowed on first responders. He maintained the deception by personally reporting the fires on his mobile phone. At times, he even claimed to have chased fictitious arsonists through the brush to throw authorities off his trail. Vanity arson perfectly encapsulates the pathology of the false flag. The perpetrator secretly creates a lethal problem for the community merely to validate their own existence and secure praise. At the macro scale, governments and institutions use this same blueprint. It is a way to bypass public scrutiny and authorize state violence through manufactured provocation. A clear historical example is the 1939 Gleiwitz incident. In August of that year, Nazi SS operatives orchestrated a raid on their own German radio transmission tower. They dressed in Polish military uniforms and left a murdered prisoner behind to ensure the casualties appeared authentic. The operation was designed to fabricate the illusion of an unprovoked military assault by Polish forces against Germany. It worked. The emotional shock of the attack generated immediate outrage, providing Adolf Hitler with the manufactured consent he needed to order the invasion of Poland the very next day. While a state-level operation involves armies and borders, the underlying logic is consistent with the interpersonal abuser. Both rely on a total inversion of responsibility, forcing the world to respond to a story written before the first shot was ever fired. At every level, the success of a false flag depends on one thing: disrupting our ability to clearly connect an action to its true source. The orchestrator engineers a situation so emotionally charged that you're forced to react, pick a side, or assign blame before evaluating the facts. The most effective defense against this manipulation is a cognitive pause. Psychologists refer to this as authentic awareness, the active choice to examine an event's true authorship instead of blindly consuming the spectacle. You apply this by evaluating long-term behavioral patterns. Instead of accepting packaged promises or giving in to emotional triggers, you ask who ultimately benefits from the crisis. True autonomy comes down to recognizing a harsh truth. Genuine support is designed to foster your independence and eventually make the helper unnecessary. False heroes demand you remain broken, just so they